This is breaking news involving a new extortion scam that's using Bitcoin as the payment medium. This is a scam attacking married men, and the Federal Trade Commission is aware of it as well as the FBI. The Federal Trade Commission put out this warning in August regarding this Bitcoin blackmail scam and some little notes on how to avoid it. And in the FTC statement, as you can see here on the screen, it says, I know about the secrets you are keeping from your wife and everyone else. You can ignore this letter or pay me $8,600 confidentiality fee in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, to those of you who may not know, is a virtual coin. It's a virtual currency. That's not a banking system. It has no tracking system where you can get the money back. It is more or less on the black web. But now it has become very legitimate and it's being traded on stock markets. But it doesn't avail itself of being tracked. As I said earlier, this particular Bitcoin blackmail scam is targeting married men. They're sending out letters with a demand for payment, as I read before at the beginning, the little paragraph, for silence in regards to adulterous affairs. And they're demanding payment in Bitcoin. As I said earlier, Bitcoin is a legitimate coin now, but it is a digital coin. It's not backed by banks or anything. And once you make the payment in Bitcoin, you're the payee. And once the receiver receives the payment, there's no tracking mechanism. There is nothing. The way Bitcoin is developed is solely done on the internet with an algorithm to calculate the payment, how it's done, and making sure it gets from one end to the other. But there is no central system where you can find out who got your money. This scam is known to the Federal Trade Commission and the FBI. They are working in conjunction in regarding this. I added this definition of what they are doing. This blackmail scam is truly illegal. And the FTC said in their statement, this is a criminal extortion attempt to separate people from their money. Blackmail is the crime of threatening to reveal embarrassing, disgraceful, or damaging information about a person to the public, family, spouse, or associates unless money is paid to purchase silence. That's what makes it a criminal offense. Not whether the information is true or not, but the fact that they are being, persistent in demanding money to keep quiet. Blackmail has been defined in a broad sense to mean compelling someone to act against their will or gaining or attempting to gain something of value. And this legal definition goes on to state courts vary on interpreting what something of value includes, but is not necessarily a monetary payment in all cases. And in this particular case, it is, because they're demanding you to pay them in Bitcoin, which is a currency now. It's basically a digital currency, but it requires real legal tender, backed by banks, money to purchase the digital currency. The FTC recommends in the article that's on their website that you contact the FBI if you get this particular letter. I would recommend this too. We all have things we've done that we regret, but you can contact the FBI and discuss this with them in confidence. Do not be afraid of calling them and discussing your options. This is something that could turn into a horrible trap. And as you can see here, I added this screen. You see the things that the FBI investigates, but at the very last one, it says persons who have committed or are planning to commit bank robbery, kidnapping, extortion. That's where this scam falls in, or theft of valuable art, large interstate shipments of good or monetary instruments, and activities of violent gangs. So the FBI covers this particular scam. It is an extortion situation and it is illegal. I added this particular slide to let you know that there are cases happening, around you that you may not be aware of, but the FBI is aware. This is one case happening in Jacksonville, Florida, and they are blackmailing people, and they've got numerous reports. And this happened in July 23rd regarding these blackmail scams. And it says the scam usually begins with a scammer sending an anonymous letter claiming to have uncovered evidence that the recipient of the letter has committed acts of adultery. The scammer threatens to reveal the information to the recipient's spouse, family, friends, and demands payment in exchange for secrecy. That's what makes it a criminal case. In an effort to avoid detection, the scammers often insist on being paid in Bitcoin, a virtual currency that is legitimate but difficult to track. On my website, I did some other things about Bitcoin and some of the issues with Bitcoin, and I can tell you from the documentation and the explanation of the concept of Bitcoin, you cannot track it. Once the recipient receives the money, it has a table thing that tracks the transaction between the person paying and the recipient of the payment. It is virtually impossible to track. So I would strongly recommend contacting the FBI and discussing this with them to find out what your options may be, because the concept, as I said before, of extortion has nothing to do with it being true. And you have to remember, in our digital age, people can get your address very easily now. Your name and address is not hard to get. So remember, if you receive one of these, it does not mean that this person knows you. And that's the key. Because in our digital age, as I said just now, your information is out there. Your address and all of your contact information can readily be gotten with very little effort. This is something that you have to be afraid of. I added this last screen because this is criminal extortion, to separate people from their money. We all have skeletons in our closets and things we wish we had never done, but you have to beware. If you pay them, they will be back, because then that confirms to them that you are a viable source of revenue. So they will sell your information to other extortion groups who will in turn contact you. So the worst thing you can do is to pay them, because it will never end. So contact the FBI, discuss this thing, with them, and find out what your options are. But paying them will be just the beginning of a nightmare that will unfold, because they will not leave you alone. Thank you so much for visiting my channel, and have a great day.